There's my video. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to this week's exercise with Exos. Super excited for today's workout. We are doing yet again another theme for this fall season. So before I get started today, our topic that we're going to think about is going to be costumes. So I want everyone to tell me what their favorite or most creative Halloween costume that they've seen or that they've personally done before. So you can drop that in the chat anytime. My personal favorite of mine in 8th grade, I was Marge Simpson. So I just put a Gatorade bottle in my hair and dyed it blue. So that was probably like my favorite costume I've ever done. So for today's workout, we are going to be, again, continuing with the theme of Halloween. We're spelling skeleton today. So that'll give you a nice little hint of what is to come today. And we are going to be doing it Tabata style. So we'll do 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, and then keep on going down the list of exercises. And then we're going to repeat that 3 times through. So first exercise we're going to do are Superman. So we're going to be laying flat on our stomachs here, and we want our arms straight out and our legs straight out. So we're flat on the ground, and we're going to use our shoulder muscles and our glutes to come and raise up and then set back down. So we're raising up and setting back down. So we're going to do that for 20 seconds, and those are the Supermans. And then coming up next is going to be our kickstand RDL. So we are going to alternate. So we'll do all on one leg, and then the next 20 seconds we'll do the other leg. So for the kickstand RDL, we're doing an RDL, but one of our legs is going to be out to the side. So we kind of want to line that foot up with the arch of the foot we're using. And we're going to go back and do an RDL. So we're pushing our hips back, squeezing glutes, coming back up. I'll show you from this side. So we're bending back. We want to make sure our knee is not moving up and down. Our knee is fixed here, and we're just pushing those hips back. So pretend like you're closing the door behind you, keeping your back nice and flat. Squeeze the glutes, come up. So we'll do all on one leg, and then we'll switch to the other leg. So same thing there. So that's our K. And then for the first E, we're going to be doing eccentric reverse lunges. So eccentric is the lowering portion. So we're going to do nice, slow 3 seconds going down. So we'll start with one leg. We'll step back, 1, 2, 3 on the way down, and then step back up. So stepping back, 1, 2, 3, and back up. We're going to do 20 seconds on just one leg. So the first one, and then we're going to do 20 seconds on the other leg. So we will switch over. So we'll do 20 seconds on one, and then 20 seconds on the other. And then we're making our way to the ground. For the L portion of the skeleton, we're going to be doing leg raises. So we're going to start with our legs straight out, lifting up and back down. So we're just doing that, making sure we're using our core here. So when we come down, we want to make sure we exhale, keep our low back plastered on the ground, using that core and not our hip flexors. So 20 seconds of leg raises. And then we're going to flip over onto our stomachs or onto our hands and our knees for our second E in skeleton. And we're going to be doing eccentric push-ups. So what that means is we're just doing the down portion of the push-up. So we're not actually going to push ourselves up, which is, in my opinion, the worst part about push-ups. So we're going to start off in that push-up position, and we're going to lower ourselves to the ground. 1, 2, 3. And then once you hit the ground, you can get up however you need to. You also can do those from your knees if that is more comfortable for you. So that's what that the eccentric portion of that is going to be. And then we're going to flip over, and we're going to be back on our backs again. And for the T in skeleton, we're going to be doing toe touches. So legs straight up in the air, using that core, come up and touch your toes. So we'll do that for 20 seconds. And then after that, we have the O in skeleton, which is going to be our down dog overhead presses. They're also, we do call them pike push-ups, but it's not a P, it's an O. So we're doing down dog overhead presses. So our butts are right up in the air, and we're going to come down, touch our head to the ground in between our hands. So from the other angle. So your head's coming down, pushing yourself back up. And then for the end, I really did want to say nothing, but I figured we should probably do something. We're going to do narrow squats. So we want our feet to be a little bit closer than shoulder width apart here. So normally our feet are about shoulder width apart or wider. This is shoulder width apart or narrower. And we're just going to squat down, come back up, squeeze the glutes. So we're going to feel this a lot more in the quads here. So we have nice narrow, our butts are coming down. We want our back nice and flat here, keeping the core tight, squeeze the glutes and the quads, come back up. So that is a full workout. Luis was so kind and put everything in the chat for us, so we can go ahead and if you get lost at any point, you can look in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and get started with our warm-up. So first thing we're going to do is our squat to stand. So we are going to take our hands with our feet shoulder width apart. We're going to go into a forward fold. We're going to grab our big toes. So right now we're feeling that stretch all in our hamstrings. Grabbing our big toes, we're going to squat down. Go as far as you can while still holding your toes. And then we're going to squeeze the glutes, stand all the way up. So we're going to go ahead and do that 5 times. So we're bending forward, grabbing the toe, squatting down, and then standing back up. This is just an active way to warm up our glutes, get our hamstrings going, and open up the hips. So it's a nice 3-part movement. So we're going to go ahead and do 5 of them. Try and squat down as far as you can while still touching your toes. And wherever you're at, we're going to go ahead and do 1 more. Awesome. So now the next thing we're going to do is the world's greatest stretch. So we're going to start at the top of our space. We're going to go ahead and grab that knee. I'm grabbing my right knee first, hugging it towards my chest, keeping my balance. And then we're going to go back into a reverse lunge. Hands are on the ground on the inside of the foot. And then we're going to take oh my gosh, what hand is this? My left hand. And we're going to rotate it towards the sky, following our gaze up past our thumb. And now we're going to put that hand on the outside of our foot and push back up into a hamstring stretch. And then we're going to bring that right foot next to the left foot and stand back up. All right, so now we'll do the other leg. So grabbing that knee, keeping our balance, bringing it towards our chest, and stepping back into a reverse lunge. Hands going on the inside of the foot. And we're going to open up towards that front leg. Hands straight in the air, gazing past that thumb, really opening up that chest here. And placing that hand on the outside of that foot and pushing back up into that hamstring stretch. And then we're bringing the left foot next to the right foot and come back up. Awesome. If anyone does not have any questions, we'll go ahead and get started with our skeleton workout. So 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. I'll tell you guys the time as it comes up and what exercise is coming up. And then again, it is thank you, Luis, in the chat if you do get lost. So we'll go ahead and get started. So we're starting off with our Supermans. We're flat on the ground. We're using the shoulders and the glutes. Going in 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're using our back muscles, backs of our shoulders, and our glutes. We want to make sure we're coming up. We're not coming up too high. We should not start to feel this in the low back. We want to make sure we squeeze the glutes and then lift. So we're squeezing the lift. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and take a rest. Awesome job, guys. Kickstand RDLs are, coming up next. Going in 3, 2, 1. So we're on one leg. Other leg is just there for support so we don't fall over, but all of the weight is going to be in our working leg. So I'm using my left leg first. All my weight is in my left leg right now. Bending at the hips, keeping our knee fixed. 3, 2, 1, and we're taking a real quick rest, and then we'll move on to the other leg. So same thing, all your weight is on your working leg. So I'm using my right leg right now. 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're pushing our glutes back, making sure we're not actively bending at the knee. We're not squatting. we're doing a nice Romanian deadlift here. So we want to make sure our hips are pointed towards the ground, our back is flat, core is tight, squeezing the glutes to come up. 3, 2, 1, and take a rest. All right, we got our eccentric reverse lunges are next. So start with whatever foot. 3, 2, 1. I'm starting with my right foot, so we're going back. 1, 2, 3. Come back up as normal. We're staying on this same leg the whole time for these 20 seconds, and then we'll go ahead and switch for the next 20 seconds. So we're going 1, 2, 3. Stand back up. 3, 2, 1. Taking a rest. Going to the other leg next. So same thing. 3 seconds down. Eccentric reverse lunges. 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're 1, 2, 3. Stand back up. So it should take about 3 seconds. We want to make sure we're letting that knee track past our second toe here, squeezing the glute to stand back up, pushing the ground away, heel, big toe, little toe. 3, 2, 1, and we're taking a rest, and we're getting onto the ground on our backs for our leg raises. 3, 2, 1. We want to make sure our low back is plastered into the ground. And I want you to go as far as you can without your low back coming up. We want to make sure we're not going all the way to the ground if our low back is coming up. Exhaling to bring those feet up. 3, 2, 1, and up. Next, we're doing the eccentric push-ups. 3, 2, 1. So we're lowering ourselves nice and slow onto the ground, getting up however we need to. So for these, you guys, we want to make sure that the chest and the legs are touching the ground at the same time. We don't want to land on the legs and then the chest. We want to lower ourselves all at once. 3, 2, 1. Take a rest. We're flipping back onto our back for toe touches coming up next. 3, 2, 1. Feet straight up in the air on our backs, using those core muscles to bring our upper body to touch our toes. Want to make sure we're not using momentum here, just using that core. 3, 2, 1. Taking a rest. And up next, we're flipping over for our down dog overhead presses. So 3, 2, 1 on our hands and our feet in that pike position or down dog position, lowering ourselves, touching our head in between the hands here, using our core to keep our back nice and flat. 3, 2, 1. All right, last thing of skeleton, and then we'll do 2 more rounds of this. Narrow squats. So feet, 3, 2, 1. Feet are narrower than shoulder width. We're squatting down as far as we can, squeezing the glutes to come up, keeping that core nice and tight. Heel, big toe, little toe, pushing the ground away from us. And we should feel this more in our quads with that narrow stance. 3, 2, 1. All right, you guys, 10 seconds. We're going to be at the top for Supermans. 3, 2, 1. Lying flat on our back, using our glutes, squeezing our shoulder blades together. We want to make sure we're not using momentum to come back up. We're just squeezing our glutes and lifting our upper body. 3, 2, 1. All right, we got kickstand RDLs coming up next, starting with whatever leg you would like to. 3, 2, 1. Making sure that all of our weight is in our working leg and the other foot is just off to the side, hanging out. This is a single leg exercise. We want to make sure we are keeping our back nice and flat. We want to get to where our chest is about parallel with the ground. 3, 2, 1. We're going to go ahead and switch sides. We want to make sure that we're pushing those hips back, feeling the pull in our hamstring here. 3, 2, 1, and go. Making sure that we are keeping our knee fixed. So my knee is not bending back up and down. I'm using my hips as the driver of this movement. So pushing the hips back, squeezing the glutes, coming up. 3, 2, 1. And we are ready for our eccentric reverse lunges. So starting with whatever foot you would like to. 3, 2, 1. We're stepping back, going down nice and slow, pushing the ground away, heel big to little toe, and coming up to standing. So we're going nice and slow, taking about 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Take a rest, and we're going to switch to the other leg. Same thing, nice and slow on the way down. 3, 2, 1. So we're stepping back, going nice and slow, letting that knee track past the second toe. We want to make sure that we're bending enough at the hips. We want to create nice parallel lines between the chest and the shin here. Squeezing the glutes. 3, 2, 1. All right, and we're on the ground on our backs for leg raises. 3, 2, 1. I want to make sure that low back is staying on the ground. Exhale as you bring your legs up to really engage that core. Pretend like you got an apple sitting right on your stomach and you're going to crush that apple with your core muscles. You want to feel this more in the core versus our hip flexors. 3, 2, 1. Okay, next is the second E, which is our eccentric push-ups. So we're lowering ourselves 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Lowering ourselves towards the ground, nice and slow. Making sure that we are hitting the ground all at once. Getting up however you need to. So we're not going to push ourselves back up in that push-up position. 3, 2, 1. And we're resting and we're going on our back for toe touches. Legs straight in the air. 3, 2, 1. Touching those toes. Try and keep those legs as straight as you can. Exhaling as you lift yourself up. Want to make sure we're not swinging those arms to create the momentum. We want all the movement to be coming from that core. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and next we got our down dog overhead presses. 3, 2, 1. Up on those toes, pressing our head, aiming to get it in between those hands, keeping our core tight, back flat as we push the ground away from us. 3, 2, 1, and we're resting. All right, last portion, and then we got one more round, narrow squats. So we're standing a little bit closer than hip width. 3, 2, 1. Squatting down, squeezing the glutes, coming back up. We want to make sure we're keeping our back nice and flat. Want to create those nice parallel lines. Want to make sure our pelvis is staying nice and tucked. Squeezing those glutes. 3, 2, 1. All right, you guys, 10 more seconds. And we got one more round, and then we'll do our cool down. 3, 2, 1. And we're doing Supermans. So we're squeezing those glutes. We want to make sure that this movement is not coming from our back, but coming, and by back, I mean our low back. It's starting at the shoulders and the glutes. 3, 2, 1. Up next, kickstand RDLs, starting with whatever leg you would like to. 3, 2, 1. So making sure that all of our weight is in that working leg. Our other foot is just the toe is in line with the arch of the foot that we're using to work. We want to make sure our heel big to little toe is still on the ground, squeezing the glutes. 3, 2, 1. Want to make sure our core is tight so that our back is flat and that our shoulder blades are also pinched together to keep our back nice and flat. 3, 2, 1. We want a nice straight line all the way from our head to our glutes when we're in this position where our chest is down, parallel with the ground, squeezing the glute, coming back up. So heel big toe, little toe, feeling that pull in the hamstring. Oh, sorry, take a rest. I was looking, but I was like not comprehending that we had 3 seconds. All right, eccentric reverse lunges, 3, 2, 1, starting with whatever foot you would like to, trying to take about 3 seconds on the way down. Squeeze those glutes, come back up. So we want the heel, big toe, little toe planted in the ground, knee tracking past the second toe. 3, 2, 1. Take the rest, and we're going to switch over to that other leg. And we're going in 3, 2, 1. So we're stepping back nice and slow down. Squeeze the glute, coming back up. Nice and slow. Eccentric reverse lunges here. Great job, you guys. Really making sure we're using those glutes nice and slow. 3, 2, 1. And we're taking a quick rest. We got our leg raises coming up next. So we're on our backs on the ground. 3, 2, 1. Want to make sure that our low back is not moving from the ground. Keeping those legs as straight as we can. Squeezing the abs. Pretend like you got that apple on your core. Crushing it as we exhale and bring our feet up to the ceiling. 3, 2, 1. All right, flipping over for eccentric push-ups. We're just going down, taking 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Lowering yourself nice and slow to the ground and getting up however you need to. We want to make sure our hands are staying below our shoulders, elbows as close to the body as we can get them. Keeping our core nice and tight here so that our back is flat. 3, 2, 1. And we're flipping back over onto our backs for toe touches. Legs are straight in the air. 3, 2, 1. Touching our toes. Using the core, exhaling as we come up. Great job, you guys. Want to make sure that we're not using momentum, that all this whole movement is coming from the core. 3, 2, 1. All right, 2 more exercises, and then we'll cool down. We got down dog, overhead presses. 3, 2, 1. Glutes in the air. Bringing that head as close to the ground as we can before we push the ground away from us. Great job, you guys. Keeping that core tight, back flat. 3, 2, 1. All right, last thing, you guys, narrow squats. Feet a little bit closer than hip width apart. 3, 2, 1. Squatting down, letting the knees track past the second toe. And because our feet are more narrow than we usually do, we should feel this a little bit more in our quads here. Great job, you guys. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and take a rest. You guys did so well through that whole workout. I hope we all had a little bit of fun filling out skeleton. I hope you had as much fun as I did planning that out. So go ahead and take a sip of water if you need it. And we're going to go ahead and move into our cool down portion of the workout. We are going to start off in a half kneeling position, and we're going to do a nice hip flexor to hamstring stretch. So we're going to be alternating between the two. We're going to do 3 on each side. So well, as we make our way to the ground, we're going to make sure we keep our pelvis tucked. We're going to squeeze the glutes and push the hips forward as we raise our hand over our head. Taking a nice big deep breath, squeezing the glute, and we're going to now push back into that hamstring stretch, keeping those toes pointed straight to the ceiling. And we're going back to hamstring, so we're squeezing the glute, pushing the hips forward, raising that hand overhead. Nice big deep breaths. And back into hamstring.
The higher we point that toe to the ceiling, the more we're going to feel it in the hamstring and in the calves here. All right, last one, you guys. Move into hip flexor, squeezing the glute, reaching up overhead. And back into hamstring. Starting to slow that breathing down, get our heart rates down. And we're going to go ahead and switch over to the other leg. So opposite knee on the ground, other foot on the ground. And we're going to push those hips forward, squeeze the glute, reach the hand overhead. Feeling that stretch in our quads. Goes real good after those narrow stance squats. And back into hamstring. Toes to the ceiling or the sky if you're outside. Feeling that stretch through the whole back of the leg. And back into hip flexor, squeezing the glute. Pushing those hips forward, keeping our spine all in one line, tucking the pelvis. And back into hamstring. Bending forward, feeling that stretch through the back of the leg. Feels good after those kickstand RDLs. And one more. Hip flexor coming forward, reaching the arm overhead. And back into hamstring. All right. Last portion of our cool down, you guys. We're going to do a nice child's pose. So you can take your knees as wide as you would like on your hands and knees. We're going to sink back, bringing forehead, chin, or cheek to the ground. And this is really where we're going to focus on slowing down our breath. So we're going to inhale for 6 seconds, hold for 4, and exhale for 10. So making those exhales longer than the inhales is going to help calm our body down. Bring that heart rate down. It's ready to eat our lunch. Really initiating our parasympathetic nervous system or the rest and digest, making sure we're not too hyped from that workout so we can eat our food. All right, one big inhale. And a nice long, slow exhale. And we can slowly return to either seated or standing, wherever you would like to be. And that will conclude today's exercise with Exos. Thank you all so much for coming. I love to see you all in here. Hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Don't forget, we still do have our Strava challenge happening. Right now, you just need to complete 3 out of the 5 exercises and put that on our spreadsheet, and we will give you credit for that. And we are giving out discount codes to Hyperize, so that's going to be really nice to get that. They have a lot of cool recovery tools there. And then don't forget, we do have the Design to Run virtual race. I always want to call it the 5K virtual race because we're doing more than just a 5K this year. So you can run or walk that. Sign-ups are happening through Saturday, so don't forget to do that. And we do have one more stretch break today at 2:30 with Luis. He always tailors his afternoon Thursday workout or stretch breaks in accordance with what we do in the workout. So if you're feeling a little tight after that, go ahead and attend that stretch break. And thank you all again for coming. You did awesome. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Thursday.